Now it's time for Whispers, your number one source for all things paranormal, with your hosts, Jordan Klein and Nick Queen, and produced by the lovely Lola Miller. Whispers is brought to you by West Virginia Penitentiary Tours at the West Virginia State Penitentiary in Moundsville. Unforgettable, historical, educational. Give us a call and tell us what you're thinking. Locally, 304-214-1600. Out of the area, toll free, 866-514-1600.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another wonderful, wonderful edition.
Now, wait a minute. Are you here?
I am here. I'm sitting
You
right
are
here.
here?
I'm back home, Lola.
My gosh, it's good to see you. I forgot what you look like.
A load of beautiful. That's what I look like.
Untanned.
I've been gone since
beautiful.
last Wednesday.
Yeah.
I got home about midnight last night. Oh, it's been a long week.
We missed you.
Oh, I missed you too. Not Nick so much.
What?
What?
He's got computer problems again.
No, actually, my computer's working fine. I just don't know why none of us can go online.
Yeah, Nick decided to unhook our internet source to bring it in here. Couldn't get it to work. We went back in there and plugged it in. It's still not working.
No, we couldn't find a plug-in. It would have worked in here fine.
Well, we're still on the internet.
Bum, 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 bum.
Because we are. KKX is on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, our computers aren't, so we can't go there.
Yeah, so
But
anybody
hey.
listening in the chat room, if we're not there, that's why.
Well, go to
We'll be back.
WKKX.com and you can listen.
That's
Oh,
right.
no, well, we can't chat with
Oh,
them.
you can't chat. Oh, that's
that's-
just going to break your heart.
The end of the world. All of our friends there in the chat room.
I will figure it
We'll
out.
miss you. I'm Jordan Klein. He's Nick Queen. She's Lola Miller. It is 6:09 p.m.
Lovely Lola Miller.
The lovely. Did you hear the new intro? What do you guys think? He said it really slow, but
It's good.
it was neat.
You've got
Yeah.
something to complain about for everything.
I thought it was pretty cool.
I did too.
I went to Myrtle Beach. I didn't get to go to the beach that much, though. You're in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, I didn't
Whose
care.
fault is it that you didn't
could-
drive 20 minutes to the beach? You,
Yeah,
because
I
you're
know.
lazy. We had a discussion about this at the hospital earlier, which I want to say my wife's grandmother, which my grandmother, of course, is in the hospital. They found cancer. They they have breast cancer. So if everybody can keep her in your prayers, thoughts and prayers. She's out of the surgery and everything. She's doing well, but
Wow.
still in the hospital.
That was
so
sobering.
I'm sorry.
Well, no.
That was a
Certainly
downer.
will keep her in our prayers.
But,
My goodness.
but we had a discussion about how Jordan's lazy.
Oh,
You know,
gee.
You see,
It
usually it's
gets
you
back
saying,
in
you see
there.
what I have to deal with? You see what I have to deal
He
with?
agreed. I said some woman come. I want to walk with you on the beach. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Easy.
Think lazier.
Think less walking. Let's segue to the beach. Which is really cool. We passed some police vehicles. They were driving like the Segway.
Yeah.
All policed out, like kind of like Paul Blart Mall Cop. It was pretty cool.
Wow, that is cool.
So they are actually using segways as a police.
How do you chase somebody on one of those?
I'm gonna get you.
They don't really go that fast, do they?
I guess it's about as fast as somebody running. I thought it was pretty
Really?
funny. He wasn't riding it. He was giving somebody a ticket. How would you feel getting pulled over on a Segway?
I'd be embarrassed. You mean to tell me I can't unrun this?
Yeah, I know. Right? Well, I mean, it was stop and go traffic, but I couldn't go to the beach too much because I got my finger tattoo redone,
Oh.
and I couldn't get it wet in the water because it was like just a couple days after when everybody went. So I was like sitting there. I was like, man, beach trips are not as fun when you can't enjoy
Go to the beach. That's right.
But
You could have done that at home.
my last day there, I was like, you know what? Forget it. It was like Sunday. We all went out and we were just like, let's go to the beach. So that was funner.
Mm-hmm. Funner.
Most funnest. Is that what's the correct?
No. That was the most fun.
Most fun. I brought Lola a gift and she didn't even mention it.
Yes, I haven't given me time here. PD River Swamp Sauce. Flavor you can see.
Bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum.
But that's like a handmade or a local thing
Yeah.
down there, and I wanted to make sure. I
It
got
is
you
a
one, I got Nick
barbecue
one.
Sauce.
Yeah. And who doesn't like barbecue sauce?
Oh, I
Especially
know.
Southern.
I can't wait to use this.
Oh, me too.
I don't know.
I bought myself a jar.
Did you?
Of
Of course you did.
Of course I
Foolish
did.
girl that I am. How dare I ask something like that? Well, thank you for that, though.
Well, you're welcome. Give us a call, 304-214-1600. If you're out of the area, we'd love to call or hear from you. 1-866-514-1600. Nick's slamming doors. And
No. Well, that's because he's
I'm
mad.
angry.
Yes, he is. Pammy, if you're listening, call now. Pam, me.
Who's Pam?
She's a friend of mine that has a ghost story that she's been dying to tell.
Oh, well, Jesus.
And every time I run into her, when should I call? And I think I told her to call at 7 today. But Pam, if you're listening, call now.
We love to hear
Yes.
from you.
Yep.
That was my Captain Kirk. I'm sorry.
That's what it
Try
was?
again.
I'm such a nerd.
Oh, my.
All right, now I think I fixed our internet, so there you go. Look how good I am.
Is this Pammy? Let's hear that story, Pam.
Okay. This happened, I'm going to say, about 15 years ago. We lived out Big Willing Creek. I'm trying to remember all the details as best as I can. Me and my husband, we had just decided to go to bed, and I'd actually gone to bed about 5 minutes before he did. He was coming in to lay down, and I heard this noise as if somebody was walking through the house. We have hardwood floors out at the old house. It's like an old farmhouse. And before I could say, Dan, there's somebody in the house, he was out the door. And he always had it timed how fast he could get the guns and the bullets in the gun.
Yeah.
And, he had the bullets one place and the gun somewhere else. So he had it like down to a science, you know. So he's out there, and I'm, got the covers up around my neck saying, oh, please don't let it be my brother, because there was an apartment on the side of the house pulling a prank on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I thought, no, he knows Dan has a gun. So, So anyway. So he's out there, and he's rolling around. He said he rolled around like Rambo, flipping from lights.
He's going to love you for this.
Yeah.
You know that.
Oh, he tells this story the same way I do. I mean, we remember it pretty much the same, flipping on lights. And there was nobody in the house. Not more than 5 minutes later, we heard sirens coming from in front of the house. Here, a car had wrecked, and a girl was thrown through a T-top and died instantly.
Wow.
Oh.
Me and my husband both feel like she walked through our house to cross over to the other side or whatever. I said, that was just too unnerving. It was kind of.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you said that, like my whole body just like flooded with like chill bumps.
I know.
Right. Well, the house was eerie in some parts, but I never felt like I was unsafe there or scared to be there.
Uh-huh.
I sometimes I get drunk and try to talk to the ghost, you know what I mean? But no, it never happened when you would want it to, of course. Sometimes I'd see like shadows, and the cat would just like freak out like Halloween Kitty and hiss and squall in the middle of the room for no reason that was apparent to me.
Yeah.
There was one other time in the house. At this time, my cousin was living in the apartment on the side of the house. And I don't remember whether there was like thunderstorms or whatever, like electricity was flashing on and off to cause this. But all of a sudden, he wasn't there. I was alone in the house, and his stereo came on like really loud, booming with a song.
No.
And it was a very popular song at the time, but it was still, like I said, a little eerie. You know what song it was?
It's
Right.
getting hot in here.
Bop.
No, it was the one that says, I'm still alive.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah.
I would have
So-
been
Oh.
freaking.
And like I said, I didn't feel nervous or scared. That freaked me out a little bit, and I couldn't find how to turn his stereo off because it was like remote control. So I actually unplugged it from the wall and kind of ran back over to my house, my part of the house.
Oh, wow.
But I think that house has some history to it or something. My aunt, she had an experience one time when she lived there where she had a dream about her boyfriend that was killed in Vietnam. And he told her in her dream that he would take care of her father and his. Well, his father had already passed away, and her father hadn't. And it was not too long after that her father passed away. She claims when she woke up the next morning, there were Lucky Strike cigarettes in the ashtray, and he was the only one that they knew that smoked Lucky Strikes. So,
Wow.
yeah, this was out Big Willing Creek, and I understand that one of our friends that has a house closer to the creek, his house was built on an Indian burial ground, because when they were adding like a garage or something, they uncovered some bones.
Ooh.
So, I mean, I think that was in the newspaper. You know what I mean? Because they had to come and they had excavate it and all that kind of stuff. So
they were Indian bones.
I think
Were they able to trace them? Do you know?
I don't know. I think this was years and years ago.
Oh.
You know, so it's I mean, it's interesting. My cousin lives out there. I haven't heard any other stories, but I haven't asked either. But
now, do you have any kids?
I do. I have an 8-year-old. Yeah.
Now, has your 8-year-old had any experiences in your house?
We moved from that house 10 years ago. 11 years ago.
Before
just the weirdness with the cat and that experience. My husband, if it was just me that heard these things or witnessed it or whatever, experienced it, I would have been just like, oh well, you know, it's just the wind or something. But my husband heard the exact same thing. And then with the girl dying. And, you know, I just think it was like a safe haven for her to walk through at that point. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is weird. I'm glad you called, Pam.
Yeah. I don't know if you'd want to go out and test things out there. My aunt still owns the house. I don't know. Maybe that could be brought up to them. See if you guys could sit around and call, you know. Like you guys.
Well, ask her.
I will.
Okay.
I will. Okay.
Let me know.
Well, okay, thanks.
Thanks,
thank
Pam.
you.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, it would.
I'm just gonna say it. Drinking and spirit contact, don't miss. Don't do it. You don't put the spirits with the spirits.
Don't cross your spirits, like
Don't
cross your streams.
Yeah, don't cross your streams. I don't know.
That was dumb.
I'm sorry. It sounded a lot better in my head.
Again.
Again.
I need to stop listening to that. So,
like so many of Nick's ideas, they sound better in his head.
That one would have worked earlier. No. Train. No, never mind.
Huh?
I don't know.
We have a new caller, or is this our guest? Alrighty. Our guest tonight, Mr. Christian Fedor. He is a political refugee out of Chile. He lives in Australia now. He is a contactee, investigates abductions.
He's a new prospective director of ICAR in Australia, which is the International Community for Alien Research.
All
Christian,
right.
are you with us?
There you go.
Christian?
Yeah.
How you
Good
doing?
morning.
Good morning.
I'm very good. Good morning. Just getting over the flu, mate.
Was it the swine flu?
No, such luck. No such luck. Yeah, well, basically, like you said, I'm no longer the prospective. I'm actually the director of ICAR here in Australia. And as you said, ICAR is the International Community for Alien Research.
Well, congratulations.
Well, I'm very honored, actually. I've been on the website of ICAR for a little while, just checking what they do and spoken to the people on Pal Talk and all that. And I've had an interest in this all my life, really, because of the things that I've experienced. And basically, that's how it is for me. I think I said to you that my first encounter with the visitors, aliens, whatever you want to call them, the ultra-terrestrials, the extraterrestrials, well, that began for me very early when I was a small child.
How old would you say you
literally,
were?
the thing is that I have very good recall because of a near-death experience that I had when I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
And due to that, people say that you see your life run in front of you when you die, and I can actually attest to that it is true.
Wow.
So that experience actually showed me literally that when I was a very small child, I was being visited by beings, and you'll excuse my accent because like you stated, I am actually from Chile.
Oh, I
and,
think your
I
accent's
have an
cool.
accent.
I'm liking this.
I'm glad you do. I was afraid that my accent would be a hindrance for people understanding what I'm trying to talk to you about.
No, you're
oh, that's all right. Yeah, like I said, well, like just to give you a recap, and for the audience listening, I forgot to say hello and thank you for listening to me, and thanks to the guys at ICAR and to Montaldo and Linda. I really appreciate that they have given me the chance and the opportunity to be able to be a part and to participate in the goals, in the aims of ICAR, which is to basically bring more. How can I say this? More to illuminate what we believe to be true about. Or, sorry, I'm choosing the wrong words.
That's okay.
To show people what really alien contact is all about.
Uh-huh.
And John Montalvo has described it as the alien agenda. Other people have different views on that and what it is. I think there's a multiplicity of different views on what aliens are all about, and that as the opinions are as multiple as how many people are on the planet. Everyone's got a different opinion.
Yeah.
You would realize that. I mean, you're on air all the time, and you get different stories. And like I just became the director here in Australia, and I had well, personally, I've seen many people talking about many different things. All of them claiming that they know what's going on.
Can you tell us some of your personal experiences with your contacts?
Yeah. My first contact was when I was literally 3 years old.
Uh-huh.
And this basically occurred in my bedroom. You see, as you said, I am a political refugee, and the reason for that is because my father was kidnapped when I was very young, at the same age, when I was 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my family, my mother and my other brothers, were alone in the house most of the time when this was occurring. Well, anyway, my father ended up going missing because of what was going on in my country back then, back in '73.
Yes.
And during those days, my recall is that at night, the middle of the night, basically, at the magic hour, I call it, around 3, I would basically be woken up by beings no taller than 3 foot.
Yeah, wow.
Or half a meter. But they were actually the ones that, the robed little monks, I call them monks because they look like a tiny little monk. You understand what I'm saying?
You say it was 6 foot and looked like a monk?
No.
A half a meter.
Okay.
So teeny tiny, like munchkins.
Okay. I'm sorry. The conversions.
Some people call them munchkins, yeah.
Well.
Munchkin mom.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They're very short.
Okay.
About 3 foot. Well, literally, these things would wake me up by pulling my legs.
Oh, jeez.
And, yeah, I would feel a pull on my leg, and you literally wake up startled, and I'm a 3-year-old boy, and I'm just in shock looking at this thing. Just remembering this is disconcerting because it's.
No, if it was pulling on your foot, what exactly were you doing? Like, was it wanting you to go with you, or go with them, or was it trying to pull you off?
I think it actually wanted me to know that it was there, that it was about to do whatever it was about to do.
Oh.
But you got to understand that this would happen just about all the time while for about a year.
Wow.
You got to realize that I was only 3 years old. And
it's amazing that you can remember it in the first place as a 3-year-old.
Well, like I said, the near-death experience showed me my entire life from when I had my near-death experience. Basically, it was because I was drowning in a river, which, by the way, is the same place where I had my first UFO sighting.
Oh, wow.
You know? Yeah. It's
How
very
old were
strange.
you then?
Then I was 8 years old.
Oh, okay.
But the other unbelievable thing for me, which is a congruence or a correlation to all of the events that I've had in my life, is that same place where I had my first sighting the year before when I was 7 years old with my uncle and a bunch of other kids, was also the place where they actually murdered my father.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wow.
And I had no idea about that until when I came back to Australia, because there was a book that was published by the the lawyer that got us out of the country and who was studying the case.
Uh-huh.
You understand? Like this was like 10 years later when I came to Australia back in '86.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So literally the reason why I have that record is because of a near-death experience, and what they would do, these creatures, was literally they would put their hands on my stomach, and they would do this every single time. And what was really shocking for me is that the hands was like a mitten, like it was just 3 fingers, but in a glove.
Yeah.
Was deathly cold. Like the feeling of the cold hands on my stomach was just unbearable. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep, I do.
And as soon as this happened, I was lose consciousness.
Wow.
And this happened so many times. I was just scared to death to sleep in that bedroom. So I had a dog, a German Shepherd, that I would keep. That I had in my house, but I decided to bring it into the room because, as I said to you, my father was not home back then,
right,
because he was being chronically kidnapped, to be tortured, and to be all of these things. Anyway, so even the dog, so I had my dog. Her name was Laika, like the first dog in space. Yeah, because my grandma actually met Yuri Gagarin, the first astronaut, and my whole family was very political, very, in parentheses, communist. So that's why I've got a middle name that's Russian or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wondered where the fedora came from.
That's right.
Okay.
Very political family. Anyway, so I was saying that I had my dog in the room, but when this next event occurred, I was actually woken up not by the beings touching my stomach again, but by my dog basically just becoming crazy. Began to yelp, and all of a sudden that stopped, and then the cold hands came back on my stomach.
What did they do to the dog?
Well, my dog never wanted to come into the house ever again.
Jeez.
I bet.
It ran away.
Did it? Oh, mine would too.
So this thing about keeping dogs and feeling that they're gonna, stop the event for anyone, I have doubts on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, did they do something to your dog, or do you think that just the sight of them scared your dog so much?
I think my dog was just scared to death, So because of I know now from experience that during ET encounters or events, the atmosphere in the area changes. It becomes very cold. And like I said, it changes. There's light changes. The light source in the room changes. I mean, most people say that there's light coming from an unknown source, and this is basically part of the what you call, or we use the terminology, one of the factors involved in the actual abduction. There are things that are normally used as to correlate the events with other cases, so we can draw a a relation between fact and imagination,
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically what most researchers do, and you can compare it with like the police, which is basically an investigative. How can I put it? We are investigators, and we do literally the same thing. So we investigate cases, and I'm sure you are aware of what ICA does. So I don't think I need to go into any more detail on that.
Right. So when have you actually gone away? What have they taken you away, or just at least like from your room?
Well, yes, but the thing is that there are so many things that I could say regarding that I rather leave that and not actually talk about it too much, because I could go into a tangent and tell you that I was taken, that I was walking inside a spaceship. I don't want to actually acknowledge that right now, because I do have the experiences. But
wow.
One thing is has to be understood. The aliens, the ET groups that come to Earth, like the Greys or the amphibian, reptilian, or the Munchkins, whatever. But one thing you got to understand is this: that, for example, the Munchkins, they're actually in the folk stories of my country. They have an actual name for them.
Really? What is that?
And they do exactly what we say that the aliens do, which is to kidnap and to make people and ladies pregnant, and then the girls come back. They
Damn
do exactly
guys, honestly.
What's that?
I said, damn guys, honestly. They're the same everywhere.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
Well, they're always looking for a nice-looking lady. Yeah. Look, all I can say to you regarding that is that they control what you perceive.
Uh-huh.
They control what you see, what you feel, what you smell. Well, not all the time, but that we use that as part of the abduction criteria.
Now, do you think
we don't know with any certainty that these entities, what they may be, whether it's extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional, terrestrial, or any of these ones, or a mixture of those. Two, we don't know that the aliens. We do know that the aliens lie, because they have they have told so many different stories to people. They lied to. I thought they lied to me back in the late 90s. They made me think that I was one of them. They made me think that what I was seeing about myself was my higher self. And later on, I realized when I was actually awake and my consciousness was clear, that it was not me being an alien, or that it was not higher self and other people's higher selves or spirits coming to see me, but it was actually the Grey and the doctors of the Grey. Maybe you don't know about this, or maybe you do. I don't know, but perhaps someone has already spoken about this. I would assume that they have in your show, that the Greys, who are not actually grey, they are blue-grey, and that's a cold blue, not a warm blue. These creatures have a hierarchy, and that hierarchy is simplified by their height, from small, short, to tall. And apparently the tallest ones are the most intelligent of them, or the ones that are in more control. Okay?
Okay.
I think that you can find that through the research of Bud Hopkins and David Jacobs and all the stuff that John Montella has spoken about. Joe is very clear on that. Mr. Daryl Sims is also very clear on that is actually actually the way the grays are, how can I put it? How they have a caste system, how they are classified. The shortest ones are the ones that work, or they have almost no sentient powers, capacity to think for themselves, and I think that's very controlling of whoever created them. And as they get taller, they have different roles and different tasks that they do according to the what they are doing on the planet here, because it seems to be a very multifaceted program that they have for people so complex that it is probably for a human mind nearly impossible to really comprehend. And but we're trying. The other thing is that they will disguise the encounter using false screen memories, and that's what I've actually experienced lately, because since I've decided to take all of my experience seriously, because before I didn't want to accept what actually happened to me, because I was raised as a Catholic.
Yeah.
And Catholics don't believe in aliens. It's either angels and demons, and that seems to be a big problem right now.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You had said earlier that they could control, what you think, what you smell, what you taste, everything, correct?
Yeah.
Is there a possibility you think that instead of actually taking you onto a ship of some type that you are, that they made you think that you were, perhaps they have a place on, on the Earth, on Earth where they, take people? I mean, is there any possible, or even kept you in your room? Do you think anything like that, just to kind of throw off your perceptions of where you were or what they were actually doing?
Well, the short answer to that is yes. And there is a multiple scenario that you can actually experience when you are being visited by these beings, or when you are being taken by these entities. And I have read many accounts from Spanish sources. A lot of the accounts are when people are that basically people are awake. Around about 75% of the Hispanic ET encounters are actually when a person is actually awake, literally awake, and they are also they seem to happen to Latin American people in their houses, in their own homes. And it's different from the Anglo British view, or experiences, because it seems that the ET prefers to knock the people out when if they happen to be in an American city, or in the UK, or in a European. I don't understand why that is, but I guess it's another throw off. It's something else that could be understood as just another mixture of how the entities, aliens, like to confuse us, giving us a throw off. We'll do this here and we'll do this over there, and they won't know what we're really trying to do, because we're always doing something, completely different. But the fact is that it's always the same thing. They always do. The encounters seem to have, a program step to it. They do exactly the same things. And when you talk to any contactee, they'll tell you that they have experienced this and they have experienced that. Give me a second. My daughter just walked in.
Oh, no, that's okay.
That's really interesting stuff.
Sounds like a cute kid.
It sounds like a little kid.
Oh, yeah.
I just wonder if they.
Sorry, guys, I've got a little daughter.
How old is she?
Oh, she's 2 years old.
Oh, man. Just starting
She's
the terrible
crazy.
twos. Oh.
Yeah. She's right.
Ah.
She's she's full of energy.
Yes, aren't they, though?
Yeah.
Now, if I could
I
ask a
love it.
question,
Yep.
how do you differentiate? Because you said you don't want to admit that you have been in the spacecraft walking around or anything like that. How do you differentiate what's real and what you think might not be?
Well, that takes. I have to personally analyze everything that I have experienced all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. I analyze myself on a constant basis to see if I am not being confused, to make sure that what I experienced was real by running a comparison of congruences with other cases. So I can tell you that yes, I've walked on a UFO.
Uh-huh.
That I've seen children in there. That I have been taught how to levitate objects, small objects,
Wow.
with other children. And I have also an X-ray implant in my foot. And I should have told you that when I was awake back in my implant experience, that's the point where I said in my email to you that that's what broke the camel's back for me, because I realized that it was not my higher self visiting me, but it was actually the Grey.
Wow.
And I had no idea what the Grey were. But from that point onwards, a great, I'll be honest, a great fear came over me, because it forced me to acknowledge this, to acknowledge the reality of the visitations of these entities. And it took me 8 years before I got the courage to get the X-ray. And for 8 years I was saying to myself, I must get an X-ray, I must get an X-ray. But it was like something was stopping me to do it. It's like we have programs running in the back of your head that they put in there to stop you from acting on your will.
I know one person,
willpower.
one of our chat rooms asked, could your encounters at all be, influenced, anything to do with like a post-traumatic stress disorder? I guess maybe stemming from almost drowning, and you're also your father's death. Could that be a possibility at all, or?
Well, you could say that for the experience that I had when I was a young kid.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
But how is it that at the same spot where I drowned, I had my first UFO sighting with my uncle and a bunch of other children and a busload of people? And that same area in Chile, in the south of the capital, is now become, according to the tourism and the government of Chile, the UFO hotspot #1 to visit.
Wow.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah, I do.
Okay,
What?
so that's a correlation for you. And if I'm imagining the implant, why is it that I can see it with an X-ray?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
that's not usually post-traumatic stress.
have you been able to, have you asked anybody to take it out, like maybe surgery to
Well,
take it out to see what it is? Or?
We are actually, I have people here who are also interested in Australia, interested in who are also authors of different books. And for example, I've got a personal friend of mine who is the author of Hair of the Alien, which is an event that occurred like about 15 minutes from where I live, back in the late 80s. And Mr. Bill Chalker, the author of Hair of the Alien, took that case and with the help of very rich friends, you could say, done the forensic work on the hair, and it was discovered that the hair had 3 different DNAs
Really?
inside of it, in it. Yeah, the hair was built with 3 different DNAs, and one of them was Basque, the other one was Asian, Mongolian, a very very rare type of Mongolian DNA, which happens to have exemplifies itself as blonde Asians.
Oh wow!
And the other one was I think it was Celtic. I'm not quite clear on that one. But what's very interesting for me is that the Basque DNA seems to be, or the Basque, in parentheses, the Basque people from South Spain seem to be part of a lot of stories relating to, connected with alien encounters and alien stories and UFO landings. And maybe you're not aware of that, but there is Dr. Carla Turner. She passed away some time ago. Wrote a few books, three books, and one of the main books that she always was trying to tell, one of her best books, I think, is Masquerade of Angels. And in Masquerade of Angels, there's a story of a gentleman that has a friend, and this friend, he basically found out later that this friend was related to the Basque, but this lady friend, a very beautiful one too, happens to be, let's just say, a hybrid.
Oh. Now, how many of them have they got running around?
Who knows? But this lady, her name was Maya, was using the same name in other cases in Europe and in the States. So this is a hybrid calling itself Maya.
Now, when you're, for those that aren't sure, what a hybrid is, what exactly would you, how would you classify a hybrid? They're mixing with us, or?
The only way we can classify hybrids is by how they appear to us. There are different kinds of hybrids as well, because it seems that the three main alien races, the gray, the amphibian, because I should say amphibian, they're not reptilian, and I'm trying to be very clear because for ICAR's sake, and the work has already been established that the reptilians are not reptilians, they're amphibians, thanks to John Montalvo. Yeah. And the other ones who happen to be or look more human, but a lot less human than what we would like to think. Wow. So there's 3 races, right? And all of them, they have a hybrid program.
Hey, Christian, we got a phone call real quick with a question.
Yep.
Okay, this is a guy he has a show on our station too on NASCAR. But this is Luggy.
Hello, Christian.
Hey,
thanks for calling.
How are you?
Good. First off, I just want to say I'm not a believer, but I'm open-minded, so I like to listen definitely to these guys' show. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that's always gotten me. If aliens do visit the planet, wouldn't they really visit the places that are most populated? And by that I mean, wouldn't you think you would see them in the ocean more than on the land? I mean, there's more life in the ocean than there is on land. So I was always interested in why there was never any reports of ships or whatever over the ocean or something like that. And that's the question I had. And thanks for the answer.
Thanks, Luggy.
Thanks, Luggy.
Bye.
Well, I'd like to say, first of all, they get seen in cities, in very populated cities, because it has already been established by ICAR that a city is of high population. I mean, basically, there is the most sightings where UFOs are concerned is, for example, Mexico City. And that's because it's one of the most highest populated cities on the planet, the largest city on the planet as well. Mm-hmm. And you have a lot of people there from many different racial backgrounds. you literally say just about all the racial backgrounds there. And I'm sure that according to the grade, that would be, or the aliens, whatever, they would be very interested in being able to just go to one place and be able to gather as much samples as possible, because it's like a smorgasbord of DNA in there, you know, in a big city. You know, it's easy. You know, it saves energy. It is logical to do that. If you're interested in human beings and what we have as most precious, which is our collective genetic makeup, would be a very good idea to actually go where there's many of us. You know, not where it's like 2 or 3, where everyone's related.
Yeah, that's true.
Or possibly, the higher
and the other part of the question, I think, was the oceans, whether we would see them in the oceans, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we do. They're called USOs.
They're called
what? And the USOs.
Oh, okay.
Unidentified submergible objects, or?
Yeah, that's right. You said it. And look, in my country and in Australia, are constantly reported. For example, in Chile, they are constantly reported around the islands, and apparently they changed the makeup of the water, making it very smelly.
Really?
Yeah.
And we were actually somebody on our chat room here earlier was talking about all the stuff that he sees in the water. He's in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the stuff that he sees.
I'm not surprised. I think that there is a lot that needs to be understood about the oceans. We know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the surface of our oceans, you know, and that's, I think, rather obvious. There are areas in the ocean, you know, that are so deep that no human and no machine has ever been able to go in there.
Yeah.
But you still see creatures that seem to come from there, like, underwater, luminescent jellyfish, things like that. You know, life is still going on down there, and it seems like UFOs also like to go into the oceans, into very deep water. This is already being reported by navies all around the world anyway, so it's not something new. But it seems to be new now.
Well, that movie, The Abyss, was about that. You know, that instead of being, a ship on the surface of the planet, it was down in the depths of the ocean.
Yeah, that's what they call that, don't they? Don't they call it like the deepest part of the abyss?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, exactly. I mean, if you can go out into deep space, you have the technology for that. Why would it not be so very easy?
Yeah.
To travel to a planet that has a lot of water, especially if you happen to like water, and you decide to create a base very deep underwater, or perhaps you have created a whole city underwater, and you created a cave of gigantic proportions.
Yeah.
And you live in there, and you have people living in there, or human beings living there as well, together with aliens.
Down under the water.
Yeah, read between the lines, you know.
Okay. Wow, that's a different way to look at it, I guess. Now, you said this has been going on for your whole life. You know, you've had these experiences. Do you document every time? Like, do you have like a notepad next to your bed that every time it happens?
Well, I will tell you about the latest. Yes, I do. It is very, very important that whoever gets involved in this, that they must document everything that they dream. They have to document all their thoughts, not all of them, but the thoughts that they think are most important in relation to the subject or what they are interested within the subject, you know. For example, my first documentation was that I needed to get an X-ray.
We have 2 minutes left there, Christian.
Yeah. All right. So basically, you document everything that you have. You try and make sense of your dreams by looking at the documentation that you've written down, I've basically gone to a psychologist to see if I'm crazy. I am not.
See, and that would be my first thought too, is that I'm nuts.
Okay, so basically you got to do that. You got to check yourself mentally. You got to make sure that what you have experienced is real, and that your mind is not fooling you, at least to that extent.
Mm-hmm.
And write down your dreams, because if you visit a hypnotherapist, the best thing to use as a recall to recall your memories is to be able to write them down so you can remember, or at least your you have some form of being able to go back to that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to write it down, and that way, if you're willing to go through hypnotherapy to remember some of these hidden memories that you may have in there, you need to basically write everything down. I got to repeat that because it's very important.
Write it down.
It's like remember this, if you write it down, it's like a time machine. Your mind will be able to go to that point in time.
Yeah.
Just because you wrote it down and you remember.
Yeah.
So
Now,
it's
Christian,
kind of like a time machine, really.
Christian, if any of our listeners in Australia want to get a hold of you to make a contact with you to share stories or need help, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, you can actually, first of all, you gotta go to the ICAR webpage.
Okay.
And that's CICAR1 at cox.net.
Okay.
Or, I'm sorry, ICAR1 at, sorry, I'm getting confused.
That's
.com,
okay.
sorry, ICAR1.com. I'm sorry about that.
ICAR1.
Just Google it, because I Googled it and it came right up.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. Radio's tough getting used to it first. That is all the time we got today. We have to cut for the news. So I want to thank you very much for being with us.
Well,
And,
No problem.
Lola?
I just want to say I'd love to have you back again, because there are still questions that I have, and I know some other listeners have some more questions too. So we'd love to have you back again.
Yeah, we're definitely
I
going
would love to do that.
We're going to keep in contact and make sure that we keep the conversations going. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Fedor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
I love his voice.
I do too.
That was
I do
fun.
Too.
All right, you're listening to Whispers Radio on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog, and UPRN, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. We'll be right back after some CNN. The former West Virginia Penitentiary housed some of the most violent criminals in history. Many of the prisoners who lived there also died there. It is known for being one of the most bloody institutions in the United States. Don't miss your chance to experience the former West Virginia Penitentiary. Your tour will consist of an astonishing 90 minutes that offers an awesome history, a touch of art, cold hard facts, and an education of the justice system. Tours start 11 a.m. Tuesday through Sunday. For more information, go to www.wvpentours.com or call them at 304-843-4146.
Now it's time for Whispers, your number one source for all things paranormal, with your hosts Jordan Klein and Nick Queen, and produced by the lovely Lola Miller. Whispers is brought to you by West Virginia Penitentiary Tours at the West Virginia State Penitentiary in Moundsville. Unforgettable, historical, educational.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Whispers on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog, and UPRN, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network.
I was going to do it, but he was mad at me earlier. He's like, I miss it. I was gone for an entire week, and I didn't get to host. And
What are y'all going to do the week I'm not here?
Cry.
We're going to cry. It's going to be like the sobbing hours.
I thought about pulling a Jordan.
What was that? Calling in? You should.
You should call in. It'd be wonderful.
The call-in producer.
It'll be
Take the board with you.
1 week, yeah. It'll be the 1 week. It'll be like Stephen King or something. You know?
Let me see. What do I have that week?
That's what I'm always afraid of.
We know.
I call in. I don't
Usually
care.
when you tell me you're gonna be gone, I try for like. Well, our first hour is Dean Koontz, and our second hour is Obama. Barack Obama. And he's like,
well, I only have 60 minutes of time left on my card, so I'll get the first hour.
Dean Koontz, I'm not too sure about the Prez.
No, they won't return my calls.
It's like, ooh, when are you going to release? No.
Yeah, I know it.
Where are the
I want to know
tapes?
about the next Odd Thomas book.
Yeah, I'm trying. You know who Terry Goodkind is?
No.
Okay, never mind.
All right, give us a call, 304-214-1600. If you're out of the area,
We'll talk later.
304.
I try.
No, it's not even 304.
So how do you like the cookies,
I don't
by the
even
way?
know.
Oh, they are so good.
And the best part, neither Steve nor Jordan like coconut.
I know.
So guess who gets all of them?
I know we do. We get to share.
Thank you to
they're
Renee
wonderful.
Eddy.
Yes,
Thank you, Renee Eddy.
because they are so good. Butterscotch.
We're working through them.
I'm going to have to scrape the coconut off and eat one.
I don't understand why you wouldn't.
Just
What is so
try
bad
one.
about coconut?
Don't you like Almond Joys or Mounds bars or?
I love them when there's no coconut.
There's
What
That's
call
all
them?
they are is coconut.
Well, I like chocolate.
see, the problem is Almond Joys have nuts.
Mounds
Mounds
don't.
don't. But you know what they both have?
Chocolate.
Yeah,
And chocolate.
chocolate.
Guess what those have? Chocolate, coconut, butterscotch. There's
Mhm.
7 layers of goodness.
Yes, they are.
I don't know what all the layers
You know
are, but
what?
they're
Why are
wonderful.
we trying to talk him into tasting one?
I don't know.
We're
because
silly. We
I
want to
like
keep them
torturing
to
him.
ourselves.
They're horrible, Jordan. You don't like
Lola
'em.
keeps saying, shut up. Shut up.
Pass another.
Shut up. Shut up.
Oh, Tuesdays I love to eat. I just get so much good food.
I was listening to that today. There was
Mhm.
people bringing you food since Bill's show.
I know. River City takes great care of me. Tom, Becky, and Jason. Every Tuesday they come in. They know it's my long day. So they come in. Today I have homemade chicken and dumplings. Oh. And then a spring salad that has mandarin oranges, feta cheese, candied pecans, and their wonderful homemade raspberry vinaigrette. That I have, and I usually always get raspberry vinaigrette if it's on the menu. This is by far the best I have ever had. So
Where's that from?
Tom brought me a whole big thing of it.
Where's that, River City?
Uh-huh.
All right. Go there. Get you some raspberry vinegar.
Absolutely. Get the spring salad. It's really, really good. Really good.
What else? And then Steve brings in pizza. Is that Steve?
Yes, John Angus from Angusville sent us down a DeCarlo's Pizza. Yes.
And we get cookies.
Well, just because
we get the dessert. Come on, people. All right, Nikki.
Yes.
What are you doing?
I am talking to someone on the chat room. I'm sorry, it's an interesting story.
All right, I didn't get the long distance number out because I kept getting interrupted. It's 1-866-514-1600 if anybody out there wants to call.
And local 214-1600. Put a 304 in front of that. I wanted to contribute. I'm sorry.
I'm glad. Nick's feeling more comfortable giving the numbers out.
I did great last week. I was going to kick you out of the hosting chair. And
He tried. Lola, he tried. He's like, hey, you think this week I can sit over there and do the...
Oh, for goodness.
You know what I said?
I had the computer.
No.
He got a tear.
I said, sure, you can next week when I'm not going to be there again.
You're not going to be here next week?
No, my band's...
Oh, that's right. You're on tour.
Yeah, my band's going on tour for a week.
Wow.
We won't be there.
That's awesome, though.
It's been a busy summer.
Yes, it has. For you.
Yeah.
How many times have you been to the beach now? 2.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. All right, Nikki, you want to introduce our guest?
Our next
Yes,
guest
we
is
do.
Laura Cutlet. She's an author. She's going to be talking with us about ghosts, reincarnation, past lives, all kinds of stuff.
All righty.
Okay, Laura, you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
How you doing, Laura?
I'm doing excellent.
And I want to thank you for coming on with us. I know it was very short notice, but we're excited to have you here.
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, our guests all got mishmashed there at the last minute. And
well,
Laura
people
was
that
very
can't
kind.
tell Pacific time from Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time, what, I mean,
Like a math
I think
question.
that was my fault.
It was Nick.
yeah.
And yes, I do have a problem.
Yes, we
But I
always blame
acknowledge
Nick
it.
for everything.
I'm putting a poster up and putting lines down it next time.
Mhm.
So
Laura,
But,
thank
yeah.
you very much.
yes.
Yes, thanks for being with us.
So tell us about your books.
Well, I started writing almost 20 years ago. I got the idea for
Wow.
these novels, and it has blossomed. It's taken on a life of its own, and the first novel starts in Middleburg, Virginia in 1979. and it's going to stretch to present day.
Wow.
I've written 5 separate stories, which comprise the 3 novels.
Wow. What are they about?
Well, it's, the meat and potatoes of it is good characters, an interesting storyline, and a little bit of mystery. The icing on the cake and the dessert is really the ghosts and the paranormal world, which I write about. A lot of, you go to these horror flicks, and you got the young 20-year-old girl getting chased by the guy with the axe, and the end. It's nothing like that. These are real stories with good characters. And, I like to compare it to my favorite TV show, Lost. Because what I like about Lost is the character development. And like these characters, there's a mystery around them, and then you find out about them. Yeah. Well, I started writing like that a couple of years ago, before I ever saw Lost. But you have that kind of character development.
Uh-huh.
I love that kind of thing in a book, too, because, yeah, you're right. If it's just all the surface stuff, you read it, you're done, you don't remember it, and you could care less if there's a sequel or another book that's even written in that genre, But when it's great characters, they become almost like family.
Well, they are to me.
Yeah,
but, haven't you gone to these, a horror movie or,
all the
and
time.
Then you feel like they should be paying me or at least give me my money back when I left.
Yes.
Oh, I love That's my favorite type of movie in
I know,
the world.
but Jordan, some of them are bad.
Yeah.
Jordan, you get the worst movies. I've come to your house. I look at the DVDs. I'm going, this doesn't even look real. The box that it
Laura,
comes
you have to understand who's sitting in here.
The cheesier, the better.
Yes, he likes those ones where you can tell it's styrofoam rocks.
Oh my gosh, with the zipper down in the strings and the fake blood. It cracks me up. I can't. I love it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
While I'm plugging my book, I want to add one thing. In my books, there is excitement, but there's also, it's not so gothic where there isn't a sense of humor. There's a lot of humorous situations, even in tragedy, even in my first book. And you have the central character is really the story, and the main character doesn't emerge to the second part of the book. So it's written a little bit different, and my technique is cinematic writing. So I'm hoping that one day they'll be made into a good horror flick.
There we go. That's a good goal.
Oh yeah.
Now, when you sit down to write, what's your what's your inspiration? What is it that you sit down?
Well, if they write a book about me, Nick, it's going to be called The Accidental Writer. I'm totally dyslexic. I flunked out of junior college and nursing school, and I went off to New York to be a model. And I never thought about writing, even though I was always figuring out stories. Like, when I go to a movie, I'd say, oh, this could be different or that could be different. So about 20 years ago, I had this idea, and I actually dreamt part of the book. And I talked to a couple of friends of mine, and they said, well, excuse me, they gave me some encouragement. Well, why don't you start writing? Mm-hmm. So I kind of wrote out a storyline, and I asked a friend of mine who is a pretty big writer up in New York, do you think this is worthwhile? And he said, I like it. Go with it. Well, 20 years later, I finished it. I guess I'm a slow typer. But it took a while. It's like a pot roast. You put in all the ingredients, and you have to let it simmer before it's edible and on the table.
Well, what are the names of the books?
Well, the first book is called The Near-Death Connection. And some of the characters in the book have had a near-death experience. Now, this is my books are very different from other horror or ghost stories. Is that I've done a tremendous amount of paranormal research so that I could get these things right, so I can nail it on the head. And in each of one of my books, and each story, there is a real paranormal experience that I have had.
Okay.
So. I don't believe in UFOs and Bigfoot, and my dog down the street isn't giving me secret messages.
Are you sure you're not listening hard enough?
Maybe it is going on, but you're too afraid to let it in.
Hey, don't laugh. That's what they keep accusing me of. So.
Have you listened to the show before?
Well, the thing is, I was the most skeptical person on planet Earth about ghosts and the paranormal. even though I'd heard stories through my family, some of my relatives that are deceased. But I had a terrible accident when I was in my late teens where I died and I was resuscitated.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it was amazing. I wasn't killed. I was galloping in a field with a horse, and I fell face first into a ditch off the horse.
Ooh.
And other than a broken nose and hand, I had the classic near-death experience. After that is when I had started having personally paranormal events. And you're thinking, wow, was this cool? It was so disturbing that I even went to a shrink, and I thought I had a brain tumor. And I was so, unnerved by it because it just, was freaky.
Yeah.
But over the years, I've gotten a sense of humor, developed a sense of humor about it.
Well, you have to, or, you're going to drive yourself crazy about it.
Yeah,
it
with the
is
stress.
pretty cool, too, though, after a while. I'm starting to, I've gotten a real rhythm with this the last 15 years.
Now, a lot of people with near-death experience say they get like some kind of psychic ESP type of thing. Do you ever have any of that?
Yes, but I always, like when I'm picking out the lotto number saying, oh, please. But so far, yes, I have. It's really weird things. And let me tell you, when you want it to happen, it never does. And when it does, it's not the way you'd hoped it would be. It's just sort of comes into your life sideways. That's the only way I can say. But I have gotten one situation where it saved my life.
Really?
Yes.
How?
Yeah.
Well, how did it save your life?
Well, it was just a couple of months ago. I was coming out of the hospital, the local hospital from where I live.
Uh-huh.
No, before I was pulling into the hospital and going in for something, and there was this man in a car, and the way he was looking at me, I rolled up the windows, your usual overreaction for a woman.
Uh-huh.
And I got a terrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. Went into the hospital, came out a few hours later, didn't see him, went to get a pizza, and he had followed me, waited for me for hours and followed me in the pizza shop and pulled out in front of me, and I heard this voice say, he's going to kill you. Now, I mean, I know this sounds crazy, so what I did is I just sped around and I went to a public place, called the police, and kind of fell apart after that. But I really believe that something made me turn to my left to see this man, and sort of, one of those warnings, one of those light bulb moments, you're in danger, girl. And but that's about the most dramatic one, I would say, life-saving one that ever happened to me.
Boy, and I would believe that too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay, now I have a quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I know in the email you sent me, you have a haunted horse farm for sale on eBay.
Well, okay, this is where my sense of humor kicks in, and reality. It's sort of like a collision course. Before I went to a publisher, I realized, number one, you have to have an internet footprint, which is cruel to people that are technically challenged like myself and 50. So this is great. So I was just finishing up my third novel. I thought, well, when I have 3 novels, then I can take them to a publisher and they know that, I'm not a one-trick pony, that there's something that can follow. So I finished that up, and I decided I was going to put my house up for sale and move down to Florida to be closer to family members, and I love my house. So I thought...
It's very beautiful. I'm looking at it right now on eBay.
Oh, thank you.
I
thought to myself, goodness gracious, this economy, nobody's going to buy it. Light bulb moment. I've got to list all my home's assets. What's my most unusual asset? Well, my house is haunted. So I included that with eBay. 1,600 people have watched my eBay ad, and it's called Haunted Kentucky Horse Farm for Sale. Pretty basic, and I'm real honest. And because I'm telling the truth, I will volunteer to take a lie detector test.
Really?
To show that, I am truthful. And I thought it would be pretty fun, too.
Now, have you taken a lie detector test yet?
No, I just put this eBay ad on a week ago, so.
Okay, yeah, I see that here.
Yeah, it's just been on a few
I'm looking
days.
through your pictures right now, so.
It's a lovely little 5-acre home. It really is, and it's very, very nice. And I'm asking $249,000 for it. And if someone wants it and takes good care of it, and we can come to a business agreement, great. and I'll give them a ghost tour once the check is cleared.
You were telling me you have some people lined up to actually investigate this, correct?
Well, it was interesting. I put that eBay ad, and the local media, Channel 18, Lee Cersei, she came out to do an interview. Lovely gal. Love the show. And, after that, the Ghost Seekers have called me, and Kentucky Ghost Seekers, and they are coming out August the 7th at my home, and they're bringing some mediums, some psychics, and some technical equipment that I'm oblivious to the, purpose of. And I think that's pretty exciting because I like some verification. And also there is an Ohio group that has contacted me and wanted to come out in late August. And I said, well, if the house isn't sold, please, you're welcome.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, this is all from eBay. You got all this.
Yes. I believe in eBay now.
There we go. And if anybody out there is in the shopping mood for a new home, there's a haunted horse farm for sale on eBay.
That's not a bad price.
Did the horses come with it?
Oh, no. I've had my horse for 22 years. It lasted longer than my marriage. He's been nicer to me.
Yeah.
Oh, you only have one? I was trying to see here.
I have two horses.
Okay,
I have one that I rescued. Is a rescue horse from the Kentucky Humane Equine Center in Nicholasville, which, saves these beautiful horses from slaughter. And then I have my boy that I've had, he's 28. And he's just, just a sweet old lame horse with no purpose other than to power nap and eat.
That's great.
all they need.
Hey, we're going to take a break really quick, and when we come back, I want to hear some of the ghost story that's going on in the haunted horse farm.
Good deal.
All right, you're listening to Whispers Radio on AM 1600 WKKX and UPRN, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. Former West Virginia Penitentiary housed some of the most violent criminals in history. Many of the prisoners who lived there also died there. It is known for being one of the most bloody institutions in the United States. Don't miss your chance to experience the former West Virginia Penitentiary. Your tour will consist of an astonishing 90 minutes that offers an awesome history, a touch of art, cold hard facts, and an education of the justice system. Tours start 11 a.m. Tuesday through Sunday. For more information, go to www.wvpentours.com or call them at 304-843-4146. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Whispers on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog, and UPRN, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. Give us a call, 304-214-1600. If you're out of the area, it's 866-514-1600. And that's a toll-free number if anybody out there wants to not pay to call. How's that?
You're so blunt.
Hey, I'm real.
Yeah. If there's any cheapies out there, just call.
Yeah, if you're a Titan.
Don't blame that one on me.
Our guest tonight is Laura Cutlet. She is an author of several fiction ghost stories, and she's living in a haunted house. She's getting ready to tell us what's going on. How you doing, Laura?
Oh, just fine, thank you.
Now, what's going on in this horse farm? What kind of stuff what validates it as haunted? You said you'd take a lie detector test.
Yes.
What's solidifying your claim here?
Well, I have seen ghosts on numerous occasions on my farm, broad daylight, evening, early morning. They don't exactly have a 9-to-5 job. So because I'm telling the truth and I'm honest, I will definitely take a lie detector test. Sure, why not? I'm truthful.
Well, why would you, why? Well, I know why some people would come up with a story like that, but, it's only going to add value if people believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives credibility to what I'm saying,
Yeah.
Also, there are two theories going in this local area. On my street, Wheat School Road, there used to be a little schoolhouse, and it became a makeshift field hospital right after the Battle of Perryville. which many soldiers died.
Yeah.
And there is a lost Civil War cemetery somewhere on my street. Well, my new home here, 7 years young, was put on a hayfield. So there, I didn't take over somebody else's house. This is a newbie.
Yeah.
So.
Well, just because the house is new, that ground could have spirits attached to it.
Yeah.
Very well.
They say when you build on a haunted area and you start doing a lot of construction and stuff like that, that's when they really come out.
Yeah.
And they came out. It was like the first month I was here.
Well, yeah, they weren't happy. I can imagine.
Now, are they?
There has been some disturbing ones, yes.
Like
but
what?
Sometimes I've been very comforted by these spirits, very comforted, and it was a good thing.
Now, are you hearing voices? Is like your kitchen cabinet swinging open?
Well,
toys
the only
being
voice
played with?
I ever say to myself is lose weight, Laura. But no, nothing gets moved around. I've heard some odd noises, strange noises that have woken me up, but I couldn't find the origin once I was awake or once I ran into the room to see what it was. But I've actually seen them. And
now, are you
several
living here by
different
yourself,
places.
or
Pardon?
are you living there by yourself, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Though I did have a boyfriend over one time, and one came standing in my bedroom, and he walked right through it. I didn't say anything to him because I thought that would freak him out. But I thought, well, honey, you just missed the show. But now, 2.5 weeks, I guess it was 3 weeks ago, I had one that was extremely disturbing and upsetting, and it was a little bit unnerving.
What happened?
Well, this ghost was trying to come into my house and through my window, of all things, and he spoke to me, and he said, "Let me in," and I'm trying to close the window, and I'm pretty freaked out, and I looked at his hands, and they were all white, but you could see the definition is that he cut his fingernails short and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, "Now get this, tell me when I can go back to work." And he was very confused, and then he went out into the side yard and kind of walked in a circle, like Julie Andrews spinning on that mountain.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just felt so bad for him, but I could make out every detail. If I was a good sketcher or artist, I could still tell you what he looked like.
What kind of dress was he in?
He had regular, work boots, like a working class guy, and long pants, and he had one of those blue jean shirts on, button down the front and long sleeves, which, for summer that was a little odd. And he had very short hair parted to the side and a long, angular face. I'd say he's a good 6'2".
Wow.
And he was older. And he was so sad and confused. And I said to him, "Hon, let me go. Just give me a minute. I'll go outside." So actually, I kind of chickened out, and I sat in my bedroom for about 15 minutes, and then I got my nerve up, and the dog and I went outside with a flashlight and looked around. That was it.
Me.
Now, when you say there was definition, was it kind of like a foggy, like you can tell it was a person climbing through, or was it like Nick breaking into your house?
It was like Nick if he lost all his pigmentation, all his color. His body was white.
Like Casper White, but not Misty.
Yes, clear as a bell.
Okay.
Yeah. If I was a good artist, then I could sketch you a picture of him. And
Wow.
I felt really bad that I freaked out on the poor guy, because it was just sad. I had this tremendous feeling of his anguish.
Now, have you seen that anymore?
Didn't know who he was. Didn't have the guts to look into the obituaries to see if it was recent. He hasn't been back.
What'd your dog do?
Well, she was asleep in the living room, and she ran into the bedroom probably because because all the hustle and bustle with me. And then we went outside together half an hour later and looked around, and that was about it.
Because I have heard that animals can be sensitive to those kind of things.
Well, my last dog was. The new one that I've had for a year, it wasn't. But my other dog, Bridget Bardot, she was very sensitive when these things would happen.
Wow.
But since it's been happening so much and so often, sometimes Bridget used to sleep right through it.
See, because I live in an old house that was built probably at the turn of the 19th century. And, I've never heard anything or had anything happen. But it stands to reason that there might be something hanging around. And every once in a while, my cats or my dog will just like stop dead and stare up into a corner of a room. They don't really freak or anything like that, but all of a sudden they just become so still. Now with a cat, they tend to do that anyway. But the dog, she's still she's a puppy. She's still only a year and a half old. So for her to zero in on something that I can't see anything there, it just kind of freaks me out. But they don't act like they're scared or anything like that. It's just all of a sudden they'll just stop whatever they're doing and stare off into a corner.
Now, I have had a relative come and visit me a few days after they passed away.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, how'd that work out?
Well,
I mean,
no,
maybe that came out wrong.
I don't think they were there to chastise me for missing the service, but
why weren't you there? But I mean, how
what'd they do? How'd
they show up? I mean, I'm sure it wasn't like a knock on the door. Hey, we brought some fruitcake.
Yeah, it wasn't welcome wagon. They this particular one, and I don't want to say who it was because this person has children and stuff.
Yeah.
Came through the wall and was right above my dresser and came towards me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did that person say anything?
No.
Just came, how clear was this vision or spirit? Was this as clear as the other gentleman?
Yes. Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't usually get the fog. I get things pretty darn clear and pretty vivid, and I'm awake. One time, when I was living in New York City, one came in and was right above my vanity, and kind of hovering above, the floor. I got up on a chair to touch, and there was, of course, I put my hand through, but I just had to do that once.
Let me tell you what I would have done.
Well,
I would have curled up in a corner and cried.
He would have.
Like a baby.
It's sad. It's really sad.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, the first time, one time this same thing happened, and I was at my brother's house, and thank God I had clothes on because his kid was in the other room, and when the spirit came in, I got up and I ran, and I would have run naked down the street. I was so freaked out and so upset. But again, this has happened so often, I've gotten used to it, and I have a little routine. What I do now, I don't know if anybody be curious, I usually sit up and I try to communicate with my spirit, ghost, guide, or whoever, and figure out who it is or why they're here. And sometimes I just wake up in the morning and they're standing there. I mean, they're right next to me.
What?
Yes.
That is nuts.
Now, did all this start after your near-death experience, or were you always sensitive to spirits? And
I heard stories about when I was a little girl what went on, and I put that in my second book, Throwaway Horses. So I don't really want to kiss and tell everything that had happened because I want to leave, eventually have people, when I find a literary agent and publisher, read my stories. But yeah, I've heard stories about when I was a little girl, and I remember seeing one spirit, but then it went for years, and I dismissed it. And then after I had my near-death experience, this started happening, and it went faster and faster and more, like being on a runaway escalator.
Wow.
So, and, I did go to a psychiatrist when this first happened that was absolutely dismissive, and then I went to a psychotherapist who tried to explain some stuff, and then I started my own research, and I found out these near-death experiences have been written through the centuries, and the type of psychic abilities I have are pretty, this has happened to other people, so...
Now, do you think that they're coming to you because you have the psychic ability, like that you are now opened up to this, so they're coming, to you for a reason? Because it seems like after they die, you got the old man trying to break through your window, a relative coming through. Mm-hmm. Do you think these are people passing and saying, oh, well, here's this person, let's go to her, and they flock to you because you can see them?
I think that's a 50% yes, 50% no. I've also had the same couple of spirits that have been dead for a long time come to me. And I've been able to communicate a little bit. And I'll ask questions, and one just said, "You're not that important."
Oh, my God. That's nice, being dismissed by a spirit. How,
I know.
God.
It makes you feel like the ugly girl on Saturday night.
I know.
It's like, well, I would talk to you, but
Well, at
I'm going to
least
wait
they
for this
talk
guy.
to you. See, I really want the experience, and I get nothing. Nothing. So.
Well, if I had not had that horrific accident, I don't believe I'd even be on the phone or be a writer. So it's been a mixed blessing. I've gotten over the broken nose and hand and gotten something good out of this.
Yeah, you have.
But I have tried to put them, all of this the psychic information, all the stories like The Last House in Covington Lane and the reincarnation of Tess Hamilton. Now, reincarnation is something that I blocked out for a very long time before I was able to accept my own reincarnation. I always figured, if I lived 100 or 2 years ago, I was somebody's maid,
All right, let's talk about that for a minute.
Now you really have me intrigued here because somebody she's moved from here, but she saw me in probably the 1920s.
Wow.
And all my life, I have always felt like I am living in the wrong time period, that I should have been back in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s. That to me is like the optimum time to live. And it was just freaky that out of the blue, she said, "Oh, yeah, I saw you coming down a grand staircase in this silvery, satiny dress, and that was really a great vision, But so tell me about this reincarnation.
My own?
Yes.
My own. Okay. And any listeners, if you want to research this, it would be great. Okay. In my past life, my name was Eleanor. I saw Eleanor's mother, and she told me that Eleanor was murdered in 1942 by a jealous ex-boyfriend or a jealous boyfriend. I forgot that part, which one was which.
Yeah, it
but
doesn't
she
matter.
was murdered,
It was a
and
guy.
I didn't get a last name, unfortunately, but I did see her, and she had red hair parted on the side, blue eyes, kind of smallish eyes, a little bit of a sharp, pointed nose and chin, and she was a bit chubby, like 25 pounds.
You're not going to believe this. I'm in theater here in Wheeling.
Uh-huh.
There is a woman that was in a play with me 2 years ago, and she brought a picture that somebody had found. It's a painting, and that is exactly what that picture looks like. And it would have been painted sometime around in like the 30s or 40s.
Well, Eleanor was murdered in 1942, but I don't know how to, I tried to get on these databases and figure it out, but, all I got was the first name, the cause of death, and I have a feeling, just a gut feeling, that it had to be a knife.
Wow.
But I can't, and I'll take a lie detector test for all of this to show that, I'm just not making this stuff up. That's all the information I got.
Now, you said you talked to her mother.
Yes.
Is that spiritually talked to or telephone talked to?
No, the dead to the live connection.
Okay.
Yeah, it's her mom.
Yeah. Well, she had big hair, too. She wasn't exactly a great beauty.
So, I mean, what did she say? You're my daughter?
No.
Like, how does this,
I asked, I did a meditation. Sometimes this felicitates this. Did a meditation. Who was I before I was me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then she came to me, and she had kind of big hair, and very, very sweet, very well intentioned, and explained. And then later on, I was like, she communicated or gave me a vision of what I used to look like. So I just wish I was an artist and could draw this. But I put all of these things, into my last book, The Reincarnation of Tess Hamilton, is pretty close to it in what somebody remembering their past life would go through.
Have you gone to a hypnotherapist? Because there are people that can do past life regression.
No, I don't know anybody. And to tell you the truth, you guys, I have just basically come out of the closet about my psychic abilities, in the last week and a half because I've been keeping a buttoned lip for 25 years over it.
Well, congratulations.
So I better,
We're so glad we're your first. Jeez.
Well, I decided, because I'm a paranormal writer, why not just be honest?
Yeah, I don't blame you. You can give insight to even fictional stories that someone that is not can't do. Did that make a lot of sense?
Yes. Yeah. It's been truly. I believe I've had psychic help and new intuition in writing these books. I really, truly do. It's been a godsend. And if anybody wants to get a preview of my book, it's www.LuraTech.com. So they could look at my website, learn a little bit about me and the ghost chronicles that I write, get a book preview, and then there's a connection to, MySpace, Twitter, and all those social networkings that I'm learning about.
Are you on Facebook yet?
I'm a Facebook girl.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Because I finally got roped into that back in February, so now I'm on Facebook
it's
too.
It's the new brave world of technology.
Yes, it is. It's scary.
It is frightening, and I'm turning 50, and I just need a 12-year-old to come over and do my computer stuff.
I know. It's like I call my niece or nephew, come over and fix my DVR. I have no clue. So.
Oh, I don't even understand that stuff. But the kind of the interesting thing I think that I could give readers that a lot of people else, couldn't get it is I've had to live with the paranormal for so many years that I can draw and paint a different picture in my books and kind of tell it like it is.
Yeah.
That it's not so outlandish. Like I have fictional characters that have these psychic abilities, but they're pretty much rooted in me. In what I've been through. Now, I did have relatives that my great-grandmother and a few uncles that had this too.
Really?
Yes, on my mother's side.
See,
and I can say that because these people are dead and they're not going to sue me. But, I think the wonderful thing about it, okay, the long and short, my books, well, maybe they'll sell, maybe they won't. eBay, maybe my house will sell, maybe it won't. But what I'm left with is that I know there's a continuation after death, and I've seen it, and I know that there are positive, loving spirits that have kind of cradled and embraced me, and I feel blessed.
I would too. Yeah,
because you could be the other way around and not be a very happy individual.
Yeah, you could be cold and cynical and jaded.
Oh no, I mean it's kind of I'm a little scared if I do sell the place. I mean. Am I going to lose contact with them all? Are they going to all stay here? I don't know. There's
that
not
exactly
is a
question.
Ghost 101 manual, that you get when you're a psychic.
Yeah. I know.
Well, I mean, a lot of them are. Yeah, I'm kind of iffy on how I feel about the whole psychic thing.
Yeah.
Because there's so many out there that are just like
charlatans.
Wackadoos.
Yep. But there are some that I've had personal experience with, and I think one of the first things that I gauge everything by is, do they charge you? Is there money involved? If there is, then all bets are off as far as I'm concerned. But I've met some wonderful people in the last few years that I really believe are gifted. This is a gift for them, as much as sometimes they may not feel that it is. But and I believe them.
When I was in my early 20s, if I had the gift, I would say yes, but I want to refund it.
Yeah. Well, I know somebody told me, be careful what you wish for.
Oh, yeah.
I have a quick question for you. Someone in our chat room said, where did she live? Were you living in New York City or Kentucky?
Well,
I think they were a little unclear about that. So.
Yeah, I was born in upstate New York, and I lived a lot of years in Ormond Beach, Florida, and then I lived in Virginia, and then I went back up to New York City. So I've basically had an eclectic life, and I've been here over 10 years in Kentucky. I love Kentucky.
Isn't it a beautiful state? That's where my people are from too.
And people are so nice here.
Yes, they are.
So, most of my friends, I'd say 99% of the people in my life, had no idea that I was a psychic.
Well, that's not something I think that people, really wear on their sleeve.
Yeah.
You don't have business cards made up. Hi, my name's Lauren. I'm a psychic.
Unless you're Sylvia Brown.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
But
there you
then
go.
again, so.
But some people have a lot more. I mean, I've got a little bit. Yes, I can see ghosts, and that's great and everything. But I can't move things, and there's a lot of things. I never had the ghost come to me and say, "Hey, don't marry that guy."
You know what? No one saves us from those things. No one. But have they asked you ever? Well, now, like the guy that wanted to know when he could go back to work.
Oh, it was so sad.
Have they asked you pointedly, or even not, to help them? Is there something that you get the feeling that they want you to help them with, perhaps?
He did.
To get
This particular man, oh my God.
Well, that would have
It's
broke my heart.
It did. It's like sometimes from these different spirits, you'll get almost like a blast of emotion that envelops you, and a couple times it's not been good. And
God,
a couple
I want to
times
come down to your house.
Pardon?
I want to come down to your
You're
house.
very welcome. Come
There we
for
go.
dinner. Stay today. I've got a pool.
Oh.
That's the best invite you've had in a while.
Hey, I've got Netflix. We could watch a movie.
Invite the ghosties.
Really?
I've sat up like sometimes and then hoped it would happen, asked them to come, asked them for guidance. What should I do?
Yeah.
Nada. And other times they've answered. Oh.
Yeah. Now, where can we find your books?
Well, since I'm right in the middle of finding a literary agent, tackling them, and making them sign me in exchange for their life and freedom, I haven't even looked for a literary agent yet. I'm just joking. I haven't even put out my toe in the water because when I talked to a couple writers group, they said I had to have this huge following and internet footprint, or no publisher will even look at my books.
I'll call you tomorrow. There's a place that I know of that you can go, and it would be a good starting point anyway.
Great.
Because I'm on several shows here. It's like there are days I don't feel I ever go home, and we had an author on that had a publisher like that. So I'll call you tomorrow and give you the information because it's at home. I don't have it with me.
It's sort of like getting a good boyfriend or a good marriage. You have to have just the right agent,
right?
And that could appreciate, what I write.
And I'm really surprised that I would think that you would be very saleable because this is the hot topic now. Anyway, somebody referred to it last week as the pop something, of this time. So I'm really surprised. I would think that you'd be able to find somebody pretty easily.
Well, to tell you the truth, I hadn't tried before because I wanted to finish that third novel.
Yeah.
And these novels are not little skinny books. They're, good 500 pages. And I think the best advice I got when I started to be a writer was don't write slow. It's action, action, action all the time. And a lot of twist and turn. And what I think is cool about it is I put in a sense of humor.
Well, that you need that. Given the choice of books, give me one that's I want the serious subject, and I want really good characters, but I want one that's going to make me laugh. I want one that kind of, the female character kind of talks the way I do and uses some of the language on a
She's going to have to be a crude broad.
No, I'm not crude.
Well, please get on my webpage, www.luraketch.com, because you can see some of my book previews, and I just put these little excerpts in there so that people might enjoy out of the different books, and I try to explain the Ghost Chronicles. But you know how there's a lot of books where you have the 20-year-olds that are in love and blah 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 blah.
Twilight.
Well, I've got some ladies of a certain age that are over 40 that are interesting and colorful and have a romantic relationship with their husbands, and it's not all about the young love.
Yeah, good.
I do have a love triangle, but it's a real unusual one.
Oh, sweet.
Between a ghost,
well, I
don't
can't tell
know.
you all my secrets. But if I hadn't had these ghost encounters, I'd have nothing to write about. I'd had no good insights, and I'd be nothing special as a writer.
Well, I can't wait to get on your website and check that out. And like I said, I'll find that information at home and I'll call you tomorrow and give it to you. It's a place to start,
Cool.
So.
All right. The website is lauraketch.com. LURAKETCH.com. You can find out about her books, what's going on with them. Can you purchase anything from your site?
No. I have everything copywritten, so it's safely secured legally.
Okay.
But I haven't gotten past that. I just finished the third novel about 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
Wow.
That's impressive. I'd like to finish a novel.
I'd like to start one.
I'd like to start an article.
I can't even blog, so
Yeah.
Well, I've got all my my networks there. My Facebook, my LinkedIn, and all those things. Figuring out how to do it, but I'm looking for followers. But my Twitter is Laura Ketchledge, KETCHLEDGE.
Okay.
So if somebody does the tweet thing.
No, I don't tweet on Twitter, so.
Well, listen, I can't even use the camera on my cell phone. So
There you go.
Well, I'll friend you on Facebook, and then you'll know who I am, okay?
Cool.
Thank you very much, Laura, for
we're
joining
out of
us
time.
today.
It's been a pleasure.
Oh, it's been so much fun. Thank
We've
you.
enjoyed it. Thank you.
And I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay, goodbye.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was. It kind of a little rocky there at the start, but.
Lola made a new friend.
Oh, I did. It's always so much fun when you get a thing.
Speaking of blogging, Lola.
Wants to be your friend. Don't speak to me about my blogging.
It's been 2 weeks.
I know.
And the only thing your site says is, I'm blogging now what?
Well,
That's the
I'm
only
waiting for
thing
the
it
answer.
says.
I'm waiting for the answer.
You got to keep doing it.
Somebody email Lola, whispers1600@gmail.com and tell her what.
And every night I go home and that damn computer's sitting there just staring at me, giving me all these bad vibes like, you should pick me up and open me. You should pick me up and...
Write down how much you love us.
I know.
And then that'd be that.
Oh, my son keeps because he wants all the links to all of this stuff. And I keep saying, I'll do it tomorrow. I've got to get on there, too, because my ex-husband's sick. I need to message him with good wishes and...
Or... No.
What? No, wow. I got to keep that connection going because he does live in Boca. So it's like I just need to keep that going. Oh, yeah, he's sick. He's a sickie, but
hope he gets better. Who we got next week, Nikki?
All right, well, next week, just confirmed as people were looking online, we had Lawrence Joseph supposed to be going on tonight. A couple of problems, but he's going to be on next week, so we'll be talking about 2012.
Does he realize now?
We have explained
p.m.
Yes, we've both talked.
Okay.
We both know where we're at. Everything's good.
Stop blaming yourself. I'm sure he got it wrong. Well,
it was me. No, I don't know, but whatever happened.
You're too anal, Nick.
And
it wasn't you.
I am anal.
I know.
And then we also have, I cannot think of his name. We're gonna be talking about John Teeter, time travel.
Oh.
It's there's a couple of different people I've talked to from the place that they're making a DVD about it, documentary. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Time travel. That really.
Let's do the time warp again.
Yay.
Nick is singing.
Ooh, I gotta go watch Rocky.
I can't wait to get to the archives and cut that and make a song out of it.
No. So, but that's what we're doing next week. And then, when are you gone?
Me?
Yeah.
Let me see. On the 11th.
On the 11th.
So the week after next.
On the 11th, when we have the gentleman Justin Blair with the Transylvania. We got to get you on the phone.
You're going to have to call in.
Yes, I'll call in.
We got the documentary. It looks great. Very creepy. Did we bring that with us? So
it's in my bag. I'll show Lola.
We'll have to get some popcorn together and start watching that.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it. So, all right.
All right, everybody. That's all we got for this week. Check out our blogs. Everybody's blogging on that thing except for Lola. But she will be. She will be. Until next week, don't be afraid. Only believe.